ball. Batting third, the first baseman, number 24, Brandon Hill. Batting hitter, number 10, Eric Fago. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 15, Hernan Sardinas. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 11, Nick DePonzio. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 34, Christian Pregent. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 8, Jackson Olson. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 2, Jorge Arenas. On the mound for your Hatters, left-hand pitcher, number 33, Anthony DeFabia. The head coach of your Stetson Hatters is Steve Trimper. Umpires for this evening's contest are Chris Tipton, Arthur Thigpen, and calling the balls and strikes, Matthew Schaefer. Ladies and gentlemen,
And we welcome you in once again for Game 2 of this doubleheader between the Florida A&M Rattlers and the Stetson Hatters. As Stetson took Game 1 by a score of 6-3. They improved to 1-0 on the young season here in 2021. They look to go 2-0 here against the Rattlers. This will be a 7-inning affair here in this doubleheader. Game 2 of this 4-game series between these two squads. Kenny Schillinger, Masad Bendian alongside with you. Masad, we saw some fireworks from Stetson in their bats in that Game 1.
Yeah, especially early on, we certainly did. 3 homers in that contest. Brandon Hilton, Kyle Ball, Nick DePonzio, all depositing shots over the right field wall. And they're all in the lineup today. Not a lot of changes in the lineup between games 1 and 2, Kenny. The batting order for Stetson, exactly the same. The only difference, really, is in the defensive end, where you've got Hernan Sardinas, Brandon Hilton moving from the DH to the first, and Fago will be the DH. As for Florida A&M, well, their lineup is changing, which you would expect after playing only 3 once. Perini, who had a 3-hit, moving up from the bottom of the order all the way to the top. He's at number 2.
And on the mound here for Stetson, getting us going, is going to be Anthony DeFabio, as he will take the mound. Stepping up to the rubber here.
Yeah, DeFabio's a guy that Coach Trimper has been extremely high on early on, talking about him being a potentially elite 2-way player, a guy who could play in the outfield, a guy who can hit, but you're going to see DeFabio more than likely make his mark on this team this year is going to be where he is right now on the mound.
So that's going to bring in the first batter of the ball game, Octavian Boyer. Baseman's going to lead it off for FAMU this time around as he takes the first pitch, called for a strike, 0-1.
And first pitch at 5:49 for those of you who like to keep track of that.
The 0-1. Fabia is outside. 1-1 the count goes to as the sun is beginning to set here over Melching Field. That one's inside, called for a strike, 2 now.
Wondering, DeFabia more than likely is not going to be a weak starter, but this being a doubleheader, it's a bit of a unique situation. As the appeals denied. So DeFabia really getting the start because this is a 7-inning game. Generally, on Saturdays, you're probably going to see Trace Costello once he's cleared.
And that's a strikeout there for DeFabia as he gets his first out of the ball game, and Stetson picking up right where they left off with the strikeouts in game 2 here.
Well, hey, we're used to seeing Stetson pitchers rack up lots of Ks. They've been very high on DeFabia, so I suppose it's only natural that you would start with a K. Nick Durgan also started the first game with a K.
So that's going to bring up Joseph Perini here, the DH for FAMU, batting in the 2-hole as he takes a called first strike. On deck is Jared Weber here for the Rattlers. The 0-1 is driven into right field and should be no problem for Sardinas as he gloves that one, and that's out number 2 for the Hatters here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, right field has not been a particularly busy day for the Stetson right fielders. I can't recall Foggo actually making any putouts in right field or any catching any poppers, at least not to my recollection. But Sardinas getting his action early on. Sardinas, a guy who will probably play a lot of first base here, but he did play outfield in Maine. He's used to that position, so definitely not an unusual transition for him.
So that's going to bring over here. Pretty in that first game. He had 3 RBIs, 2 hits, as he's going to get plunked there and take first base right there on the thigh on the outside.
Yeah, that one got away a little bit from DeFabia. He I think he was trying to go inside there, but it just went too far inside. Well, true freshman, first game. There's bound to be some struggles early on, but he's a kid who's shown a lot of promise. The coach is extremely high on him, and he's a guy who also has a bit of history with Coach Trimper. His DeFabia's dad, a longtime head coach at Fairleigh Dickinson, and he's known Anthony from since he was a kid. So there's a long relationship there.
Yeah, he told us that last night. LJ Bryant, the right fielder, takes the second pitch of the at bat. 2-0 now. Here top of the inning, we're scoring.
So that's, by no means unusual in that sense. You grow up around the game of baseball. After a while, it just, it's kind of like osmosis. It's just into your blood,
Oh, absolutely. 2-2, and his lob over there at first base to Hilton, but nothing doing there.
Hilton getting his first action of the year at first base, DH'd the last game. I suspect in the doubleheaders, what we're seeing today lineup-wise is what we're going to see in terms of first base and right field and DH. You're going to see kind of Foggo and Sardinas and Hilton sort of just basically taking turns in those positions. Either one of them could play all 3 spots, although more than likely Hilton's not going to be in the outfield. It'll be either Foggo or Sardinas.
Yeah. Full count, 3-2, as that one is inside, and a walk here to LJ Bryant, and that's going to put a runner on first and second with 2 out now for Tristan Cooper.
That was a bit of an interesting call. Looked like a strike to me.
Yeah,
but it's early.
Close one.
Yeah, it was a close one. Matt Schaefer calling the balls and strikes. Chris Tipton at first. Arthur Thigpen at third. So same umpiring crew that we had last game, just different spots.
That's bring up Tristan Cooper. He's the first team All-MEAC here as he fouls that one right away for a strike. 0-1. The righty plays it close to the plate here. DeFabia looks over, now fires home, and that one's up and inside a little bit. 1-1 with 2 down. Most of the field here in the shade now as the sun is quickly setting.
Yeah, we'll probably full dark within an hour, if not sooner.
Lights are on here at Melching Field as that one's fouled past the dugout of Stetson.
In case you're wondering, temps have dropped a slight bit, 61 degrees at first pitch. Wind seems to have lightened up a little bit, but still generally blowing out towards right field.
Yeah, look at it now. It's up to 11 miles an hour. So
yeah, about what it was last game.
Yeah, it went down to 9, and now it's maybe picked up just a tad. But that was a 6 there, and that's going to end the inning. A big strikeout for DeFabia there as he gets out of the inning unsaved as FAMU leaves 2 on the base pass. Scoreless here as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Here in DeLand, you're watching Hatter Vision.
On action in Melton Field, the Hatters come to bat in the bottom of the first.
To reach your goals, you need some. Advent Health is proud to partner with the Stetson Hatters. It's a person, body, mind, and spirit. From your powerhouse heart to your fatty brain, you are incredible. That's why Advent Health is committed to whole patient health for the body, mind, and spirit. Visit adventhealth.com and humansareincredible.com to learn more.
Bottom of the first about to get underway here in DeLand as Andrew McNeil is going to step into the batter's box here. This is batting order. Goes McNeil, Kyle Ball, Brandon Hilton, Eric Fago, Hernan Sardinez, Nick DePonzio, Christian Pregent, Jackson Olsen, and Jorge Arenas rounds out your batting order here for the Hatters as McNeil will take the first pitch from Josh Hancock. The slinger on the mound here for FAMU, the senior from Altamont Springs, right down the road on I-4. Probably has his family in the crowd this afternoon or now evening.
Quite a few Rattler family and friends in the crowd, actually. A little more than I expected, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, FAMU isn't exactly, technically it's Florida, but Florida's a big state.
Yeah,
You know,
Tallahassee's a trek.
I mean, that's at least 4 or 5 hours.
Yep.
Easy.
Count 1-1, no outs. McNeil checks his swing. Did they say that he went? No, they said that he did not. So 2-1, the count now goes to for Andrew McNeil.
Yeah, that was a close one there. Andrew 0 for 2 in game 1. A couple of runs scored. Drew a walk. Also got hit a few times. Hit by a pitch. Now up to 35 for his Stetson career.
Hartford transfer lines that one into right field, and he's going to take a long turn around first base, but hold up as a nice throw there from the right fielder, Bryant. Holds him up, and it's going to be a leadoff single for Andrew McNeil, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kyle Ball. Hatters.
Well, it's much painful to move up 90 feet for him.
Yeah, that one probably felt good for him there to smack that one into right field there.
And as we should always, of course, give the fashion update. Stetson swapping out their white tops for the greens which I think is probably my favorite uniform combination for Stetson of the ones that they currently have, although the blacks are a slick look too.
Yeah. Absolutely. As Kyle Ball steps into the right-handed batter's box here as he takes that first pitch called for a strike. Caught the outside corner of the plates. Josh Hancock gets ahead in the counts. Hancock stands at 6'6", 230. Another big pitcher here for the Rattlers as that one's inside and makes Kyle Ball jump a little bit there, even up the count at 1-1.
There's quite a few FAMU pitchers that are large.
Yeah.
They got a fair amount of 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" guys. A lot can throw up in the ranks too.
The one is for ball 2-1.
Actually, excuse me, I meant to say lower 90s. I got my trajectory confused a little bit. But still, I mean, they got a lot of guys who can show some power, and hopefully for them, Coleman will, Hancock will do better than Coleman did in Game 1. He got lit up a few times.
The pickoff was unsuccessful there.
Yeah, home run ball definitely victimized them. Giving up that homer to Hilton early, and then to Ponzio, and then Ball after that, and that's really kind of what chased them in the end.
Yeah.
Really, Stetson using those homers to big advantage to put themselves in front, and they never trailed.
That one's down the left field line, foul.
And that's really sort of an unusual thing to say for Stetson. I mean, this is a team that when you get runs, they tend to manufacture them. It's, get a single, steal a base, rip an extra base hit into the gap, score the runner from second. That's generally how it works for Stetson. To see them use the home run ball to the success that they had in Game 1 is definitely a bit unusual, but it's something that the coaches say will happen more often this year just simply because of the kind of lineup they have.
Yeah, Coach Trimper talked about how this is one of the better offensive teams that he's had in his time here.
Well, we'll see how it shapes up in the end, but it's certainly shaping up to be that way. I mean, Stenius, I know he didn't have a particularly good Game 1, but he's a guy that should be a power source for them. Fago, of course, we know about him. I mean, he's been established in that sense. Brandon Hilton, he's got a high batting average. The power should follow. It did in Game 1. Kyle Ball is a guy who I think could potentially be, a little more power than people think.
Ball taking the 2-2 pitch from Hancock as he fights that one off. Foul. Out of play.
No one's going to ever confuse Stetson for being like a bunch of big boppers. The Melching Field just really isn't a home run park, so you don't really want to build your team to be that way. You want them to be a team that can hit gaps, that can run, that can play good defense. I mean, you've got tremendous pitching most years, so that's the way you want to win if you're Stetson. But it's good to have that power when you need it.
That one's driven into shallow left field and makes its way to Weber into his glove, and that's going to be out number 1 for the Hatters as Brandon Hilton makes his way to the plate.
I think Weber got a little confused there from that shade to sun transition. I mean, that when the sun's melching, a lot of times it's the left and center fielders who get it that transition at this time of the day. So I think it kind of messed with him a little bit, but he won't have to that for much longer.
Lights are on here at field. And the sunlight is off the field now as Hilton goes to second base and turning and making the play there. Moyer, as he thought about turning the double play, but advancing over there is Andrew McNeil. And 2 down now.
That would have been a tough double play transition. He did the right thing there. Take the sure out. It's early in the game. The last thing you want to do is sail the ball in the left field, and all of a sudden you've put yourself in a hole. Take the out when you can. It's like I said, still in the game. I mean, you got 2 outs here, and if you're going to plate that run from second, Fago's going to have to smack it into the outfield good, which obviously he can do, but you don't want to make it easier on him if you don't have to.
So Fago in the DH position now, batting in the 4 hole as he takes that one called for a strike, 0-1. Fago had 1 hit in Game 1, also struck out.
His 4 homers led the Hatters in 2020, before the COVID, of course. He had 6 the year before, which also led the Hatters.
As that one's popped up into shallow center field, giving chase and making the catch there is Robinson, the shortstop. And that is a heck of a play there.
That's a highlight reel one for sure. Nice play.
Yeah, that's going to do it for the first inning. FAMU gets away with unscathed in that bottom of the first inning. We're scoreless, heading to the top of the second. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Is a family-owned, independent Coca-Cola bottler. Coke Florida's exclusive territory covers more than 18 million consumers across 47 Florida counties. Coke Florida sells, manufactures, and distributes more than 600 products of the Coca-Cola Company and other partner companies, and is the 3rd largest privately held Coca-Cola bottler and the 6th largest independent bottler of Coca-Cola products in the United States. Coke Florida is a proud sponsor of Stetson Athletics. The refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coke is the perfect addition to any game day. Your Hatters, your Coke.
Scoreless here at Melching Field. Stetson and FAMU battling it out in Game 2 of a doubleheader here on this fine Saturday afternoon, or now evening, here in West Volusia County.
It's getting chilly, too. Temps under 60 already. I can feel it.
Grant will roll out. Takes that second pitch and lines it over to the third baseman, Olson. He fires across the diamond for out number 1 in this top of the second inning.
Well hit one, but a burner there that Olson handled pretty cleanly. I've been impressed with him so far. I remember him from when he was playing for Hartford in the 2018 regional. I thought he was pretty good even then, and he's really developed nicely in his career at Hartford, and Stetson, I think, is going to get a real benefit out of it.
That's going to bring up Juan Lawrence, the center fielder, as he shows bunt and backs off on it, but it's going to be called for a strike.
Some pretty interesting results in the A-Sun, Kenny, that we should mention.
As that one's put down nicely there by Lawrence, but handled by Pregent, and he fires over to the first baseman, Hilton, and 2 down now.
Yeah, almost too nicely. That was the problem.
Yeah.
You want that ball to roll a little more. That thing died about 2 feet from the plate. That's simply too easy a play for someone like Pregent.
Sometimes those died down ones can catch the catcher off guard, but
that's true. If it gets under their feet, yeah, but not that time.
That one took a little backspin there into set there, as that's going to bring up the third batter here, Andrew Bork, as he takes that one for a strike 1 with 2 outs here. Nobody on, scoreless here in DeLand, and it is fired in for a ball, 2-1.
Big result out of the A-Sun so far today. North Florida knocking off Florida State. 7-4 final there. 24-ranked Seminoles go down. UNF playing them in tally, I think.
Yep.
So that's a pretty big result for UNF.
The 2-2 is inside.
Also of note, FGCU taking down South Florida. 4-1 final there.
The 3-2 is in dirt. Almost caught his foot.
Walk regardless. But
yeah, it is a walk regardless, so he's going to take a base.
Bork making sure that he can't get thrown out on the K just in case.
Yeah.
So he hustled.
So that's going to bring up Robert Robinson, the shortstop, the 9-man in this batting order for FAMU, who also hails from the city of Tallahassee.
I think another one that's a bit of a surprise to me score-wise, Kenny, Liberty getting shellacked right now. Campbell 16-3, top of the 8th there.
Yeah, that is a surprising one. As that one's fired in for a called strike, 0-1.
Liberty, a team that's favored to win the ASUN this year. Stetson number 2, by the way, in the preseason coaches poll. And I think probably the most surprising thing about the preseason poll, most of the time I don't pay attention to them. This year, though, it kind of caught my attention. Not a single Stetson Hatter made a preseason ASUN team. That's remarkable to me. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
The 1-1 is check swing, but he went 1-2 now with 2 outs. And, yeah, that's pretty shocking, especially the team that has has some love in the preseason poll.
Yeah, I mean, a team that's generally on the top of the ASUN, a vet ball club, lots of guys coming back. Not a single one made a preseason ASUN team? That's very odd. Foul. I mean, it's just, granted, they don't do second teams or third teams or anything like that. It's only one team, but, to say that not one single Hatter made that team, very, very surprising to me.
Robinson takes that pitch, called for a ball, 2-2.
I didn't ask Coach Trimper that when I talked to him, but I was meaning to. I just never had a chance to. But I'm definitely going to ask him that at some point, see how he feels about that. I suspect that probably left him a little bit.
2-2 now, fills it up. 3-2, 2 outs. Runner on first base, scoreless here between Stetson and Florida A&M.
Having said that, though, that's the kind of thing that you put up as bulletin board material in the locker room, though.
Oh, yeah,
that'll
absolutely
motivate some people.
That's the chip on the shoulder material there. The 3-2, swung on and missed. And another strikeout for DeFabia. And that's going to send us to the bottom of the second inning. Scoreless here between Stetson and FAMU. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Credit Union is a proud partner of Stetson University Athletic Site has been bringing better banking to Central Florida for nearly 85 years. Insight Credit Union is your local go-to for lower rates on auto and other loans, credit cards, and more. Not every financial institution is created equal. Experience better banking. Insight Credit Union and you better together.
Hernan Sardinez here to step in for the Hatters in the bottom of the second inning. Scoreless here between the Rattlers and the Hatters. Josh Hancock on the mounds for FAM. Gave up a leadoff single to Andrew McNeil last time out, but retired 3 straights to get out of the inning unscathed. So that first pitch is outside. Ball 1-0.
Sardinius, one of 9 graduates on this roster for Stetson.
He lines that one into the right field, right over the head of The second baseman, Moyer, takes a big turnaround first, and he's going to get into second base. Stand-up double there for Sardines to get the Hatters going here in the bottom of the second.
Coach Trimper mentioned something to us about Sardines. Not the fastest base runner, but a smart one. You saw it right there. You saw it right there. By all rights, that should have been a single. By all rights, Sardines probably should have been nailed at second on that play. But the throw was a low one that came to the cutoff guy. Sardines took advantage of it. That was steady play. Nicely done there. That's where that vet experience comes in handy sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have been at first, not at second, or out at second. You know? Had it been a decent throw to the cutoff man, it's probably a single.
Oh, yeah, or just get to the second baseman. So that's going to bring up Nick DiPonzio. Ponzio, as he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0 with no outs, scoreless. Runner on second base, Sardines for the Hatters after the leadoff double.
Interesting that FAMU's already playing to basically cut Sardines off from moving to third. That's an interesting move.
Infield in is that one's called first strike, 1-1.
I mean, I find that an interesting move at this point in the game, especially considering that Sardines isn't exactly the fastest runner. You know, I would think that playing more normally would be to your benefit, which now you're seeing the right side of the infield do that. First and second base, they've moved back to normal, but the left side is still pretty close to the edge of the infield grass.
Robertson drops back to shortstop. That one's our heads, 1-2.
I mean, DiPonzio certainly has the power to go extra bases or better, so I suspect that's why you're seeing the first and second base guys back up a little bit. And not to mention the right fielder, you still got that wind blowing out pretty strong towards right. DiPonzio took advantage of that in Game 1 with his homer. First at bat of the year for him, actually, when he did that.
1-2 is outside, 2-2.
Another interesting score of note, Louisville beating Bellarmine 5-1 the final there. Bellarmine making the transition to the A-Sun this year. First year in D1 ball for them as they make the jump from the D2 level. They're a very good program at the D2 level. That'll be an interesting move for the Knights and how they handle that.
2-2 is fouled back, and their basketball team is leading the A-Sun right now in men's basketball.
They've done better than expected for sure in that sense. Bellarmine is, I think, an interesting addition to the conference. By the way, they're based in Louisville, so that's actually an inner-city rivalry there. Bellarmine is a private school there.
Yep.
Not the largest student base, but, you know, kind of fits in with the A-Sun. A lot of A-Sun schools are like that. Stetson, of course, being one of them.
The 2-2. Oh, snagged there by Robertson. He flips over to second base and slotting in there Sardines safely, but a heck of a play there by Robert Robertson as he gets the out.
Gets himself another highlight reel play, too. Showed some serious ups there climbing the ladder to get that ball. And, you know, Sardines fortunately didn't take a bigger lead or else he probably would have been doubled up. Well hit ball there from DiPonzio. Sometimes, though, you get unlucky. And that's what happened to him there. Heck of a play from Robinson, though. Got to give the kid credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Love hasn't done too much at the plate, but that's going to bring up Chris Regent. Takes that one for a called ball, 1-0.
Well, you know what? In college baseball, you'll take a shortstop who doesn't hit all that great if they can make plays defensively. You'll take it. You can get offense in other parts of the lineup. Shortstop is one spot where you need to be solid defensively if you have any hope.
Yeah, that one saved the run possibly there. We'll see. I mean,
I don't know. With Sardines on second, I'm not so sure. With almost any other base runner, though, yeah, I think you're right. It probably saved the run.
He kind of missed.
Yeah, kind of sent Sardines anyway. But with one out on the board, he's not the. I suspect Tripper would have held him. I suspect, but I mean, yeah, you could definitely make the argument it saved a run for sure.
Especially if you just would have tipped it and it would have just trickled in the left field.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The 1-1, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. 1-2 now.
Yeah, no room for appeal there with no ump on the first base line. Had there been, I think there would have been an appeal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Regent, the captain, redshirt freshman. Fouls that one back away. Keep the count where it is, 1-2 with one out.
A couple other ASUN scores to note. Kennesaw State taking 2 from the Billikens of St. Louis, winning both those doubleheader games too. Florida Gulf Coast, we mentioned them beating USF earlier. They're playing a doubleheader against the Bulls today. They're up in the second game 3-0. So pretty good showing for the ASUN so far today.
Yeah.
Other than Liberty and Jacksonville, they're losing. They lost to Miami of Ohio.
As that one gets away and firing it down to third base and getting him is Bork. Out number 2 there, Sardinas gets thrown out, trying to swipe third base.
Yeah, that was borderline. That was definitely borderline. Both the call and the move, too. That ball didn't get far away. A great throw from Bork to get Sardinas. Got him in plenty of time, too.
So 2 outs now for Christian Pregent. 2-2 pitch is hit right to third base once again. Cooper gloves it, fires across the diamond, and that is a bailout there as FAMU comes away unscathed after Stetson was threatening. We head to the top of the third. Scoreless here, still in the lane. You're watching Hatter Vision.
We remind you, please follow university protocols for physical distancing. Mask wearing required at all times, and please do not sit on any stickers while in the stands. Once again, please follow the COVID-19 university guidelines for physical distancing. Mask wearing, and please no sitting on any stickers located within the stands. Thank you for your cooperation.
Want to stay up to date on all things happening in Hatter Nation? Follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, as well as on YouTube. This goes for all of the Hatter media channels on LinkedIn. Long time ago, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from?
Back to action here in the top of the third inning, scoreless here. As second pitch is shortstop Robertson. He fires across the diamond for an out. As nice pick there by Brandon Hilton.
Yep, Kyle Ball with a nice play there. The wheels there. Trimper telling us Ball is the best shortstop on the team defensively, but you may see him at third regardless. So far, though, it's been his show at short. I mean, we've been told you'll see those positions flip around. So far, though, I mean it's early, but so far, it's been Ball at short, Olsen at third, Arenas at second, and if the success is there, then I suspect that'll continue. Usually, Trimper doesn't like to mess with something if it's working.
Joseph Perini up at the plate here for FAMU. As he fouls that one back, 1-2, the count now with one out.
Speaking of things that are working, that kid's been working it today good.
Yeah.
3 hits in game 1. I think the most hits out of anybody on either team, if memory serves.
Yeah, true freshman, too.
Mm-hmm.
Timeout at the plates. So they reset. Fabia fires that one in there for a ball. 2-2 now.
Freshmen look pretty good so far.
Yeah. Big cut and miss there. Strikeout for DeFabia. He gets 2 outs now for the Hatters.
And that's K number 4 for DeFabia, the freshman out of Bronxville, New York. One of a couple of two-way guys that Stetson has on the roster. Jovan Gill, the other. You'll see him, at least in theory, you'll see him at some point tomorrow. He's supposed to start one of the games tomorrow. More than likely, it'll be the 7-inning game.
Fabia fires that one in to Weber. Call strike.
You probably won't see Gill as much as a hitter, though. DeFabia, you may see as a hitter this year.
Right back to third base once again. Olsen fires over to Hilton. 1-2-3 inning for the Hatters as they retire the Rattlers. We head to the bottom of the third. Still scoreless here. The Hatters up the bats. Olsen, Arenas, and McNeil. When we come back here on Hatter Vision.
Florida Orthopedic Associates is proud to support Stetson University Athletics. Let's look to the video board at this time for a message from Florida Orthopedic Associates.
Inside us all as an athlete, on the field, the gym, the track, the court, at any age, any activity, injuries happen. If pain is keeping you from being active, turn to Florida Orthopedic Associates. We offer stay, rest, and walking ortho clinics in Orange City and Fair. Using the latest technology and minimally invasive procedures, our experts are uniquely qualified to get you back in the game. For more than 50 years, we've provided orthopedic care and community. Florida Orthopedic Associates is proud to be the true physicians for Stetson University and other local athletic clubs.
Jackson Olsen here to lead it off for the Hatters. He's been busy on the defensive side of the baseball, and he steps in for his first at-bat here as he's going to face off with Josh Hancock. As we were talking about at the break, we got a little bit of different pace here with this game. It's kind of shaken out as a pitcher's duel so far.
Yeah, it's early, but yeah, this is definitely more like the typical Stetson game than game one kind of wasn't.
No,
But
yeah.
it kind of ended up being more of a pitcher's thing at the end. Yeah, you definitely saw the offense spark early, and then Stetson just hung on.
We're scoreless here in DeLand, game 2 of a doubleheader. 4-game set between FAMU and Stetson. The 0-1 is swung on and missed by Olsen. Another doubleheader tomorrow, starting at noon. 9-inning game, and then followed by a 7-inning game. The 0-2 swung on and missed in the dirt. So they're going to throw it down to first base for the out. As a nice play there by Bork to fire down there the roll out for the first out.
And as Arena steps in, just want to make a quick score mention here. Women's basketball getting the W over Kennesaw State, 49-32 the final. Stetson as a team shot 31% in that game, somehow won.
Yeah.
It helps when Kennesaw shoots 30.
Yeah, that's...
Including 1 for 7 from 3.
As Arenas takes that one to third base, Cooper there to glove it down, and he fires across the diamond. 4 out, number 2.
Arenas thinking first pitch all the way there, try to generate something early. I know some people would argue show some patience, but it hasn't been on this game, so I can understand maybe jump early on and see if you get lucky. And Arenas is usually pretty good on the first pitch.
That's going to bring us back to the top of the order. Andrew McNeil, who's first time up, to lead off the ball game. Hancock fires in the first pitch, outside, 1-0 now. Kenny Schilliger, Masad Vendian here with you on Hatter Vision. As that one fired in there for a 1-1 count now.
You're seeing the jackets busting out here from the staffers and the fans, friends and family, really, here at Melching Field. Temps starting to go down nicely, although, for an opening weekend, this is actually pretty nice weather. Stetson's had some pretty cold openers in recent years.
That one's outside, 2-1.
I know, I can't remember the game, but there was one I know where temps actually got in the low 30s at one point. Not low 30s, sorry, high 30s. Got in the high 30s at one point, which, granted, it's Florida.
Yeah.
I know low 30s isn't cold for anybody but Florida, but still, this is Florida. Yeah.
The 2-1. Swung on and missed, 2-2.
I know speaking for myself, I lived in Florida most of my life, but my first job in broadcasting was actually in North Carolina. And I started to understand why people would laugh when Floridians would complain it's cold. I started to understand it then.
The 2-2 inside, 3-2 the count goes on McNeil, who's a .234 career hitter.
You're a Miami, Ohio guy. I'm sure. Miami, Ohio. I'm sorry. I need to get that right. Miami, Ohio. So I know enough about that place to know the snow is a real thing over there.
Yeah, it's Southern Ohio, so you don't get as much as you would think.
You still get plenty,
3-2 that one's in the dirt. Call ball 4. McNeil takes first base once again, this time on a walk.
Well, I know enough about Ohio to know that you're not playing baseball in March.
You'd be surprised sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. They schedule something, and you'd be surprised.
They don't usually schedule games that early. They're up there, like home games, right?
Yeah, you'd be. Not just.
I know
up north. Sometimes they'll do it.
Yeah, I know they will, but generally, they don't like avoid because you're more than likely going to get a snow out or something.
Yeah.
A lot of northern teams tend to come to Florida the first part of the year for a reason, It's usually warmer weather, and that's usually where Stetson gets a lot of their northern teams. But this year, that's not the case. COVID really putting a damper on the traditional scheduling for a lot of schools. I can't recall Stetson ever having a schedule with no Northeast teams, especially since Trimper's been here. It's never happened since Trimper's been here. And I can't imagine it was any different under Pete Dunn. Usually northern schools are a staple for a lot of Florida teams early in the sched. A lot of them do
Kyle Ball takes that pitch for a ball.
A lot of them do that northern, they go down for like a month and play whoever they can play.
Yeah.
That's, for a lot of northern schools, they're not playing their first home games until like half the schedule is over, if that. Some of them aren't opening up until April sometimes.
The 1-0 high, 2-0 on Kyle Ball. Runner on first base, 2 out. Scoreless here between Stetson and FAMU. Lights are on here in game 2 of this doubleheader. Sun has set here in DeLand as that one's called for a ball. 3-0 now.
Another score we'll be keeping an eye on for you over at the Edmonds Center. JU leading Stetson 73-66. 5 minutes left in that contest. Stetson scoring the win yesterday, so they have the chance to sweep the Dolphins if they can pull off the comeback.
The 3-0 fired in there for a strike from Josh Hancock, trying to just pick up one of it there and battle back.
Stetson had a real strong showing last night from Chase Johnston.
Oh, yeah.
When him and Perry get their threes going, they're a tough team.
That one's lined up the middle, and stepping on the bag easily there is Robinson to get the third out, and that's going to end the third inning here at Melching Field. Still scoreless between the Rattlers and the Hatters. You're watching Hatter Vision.
For Stetson in the bottom of the third inning, no hits, no errors, and one left aboard. Through 3 innings, your score: Hatters 0, Rattlers 0.
Top of the fourth, we got to get underway here. FAMU up to bats. And stepping in, here's L.J. Bryant, the right fielder. He walked his first time up as he swings at the first pitch from DeFabia.
Yeah, DeFabia so far, yet walks by pitch though, so not working a perfect right now. But so far, the young lefty's been solid and shown a little more zip on the fastball than I would have expected. I can definitely see him adding some MPH as the years go.
The 1-1 is high and outside. 2-1 here on L.J. Bryant.
Some pitchers, you just look at them and you don't think they throw that hard, and then they get on the mound and you. He did to me. You know, I didn't expect them. I mean, I had heard he threw pretty, had some decent velocity, but I wasn't expecting it to be as much as it appears at eyesight. It's the first time I've ever really seen him pitch, so I can definitely see why the coaches are so high on him, though.
The 2-2 is outside. 3-2. The count runs full now with no outs.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown good location. He's shown good command. It's a little bit of nerves, but I mean, first starts, first freshman start to be expected.
And that one's going to be a ball 4. Leadoff walk here for L.J. Bryant as he will walk over to first base. Yeah. It's going to bring up Tristan Cooper.
I think the one thing that impressed me the most, though, is when he got out quick. He hit Weber. He gave up the walk to Bryant. Came right back, Kate Cooper, end of the threat. That's what you want to see. You want, you like to have a pitcher pitch clean if you can, but you need a pitcher who can get out of jams if he gets in them. And that's a trait you need to have.
And Cooper takes the first pitch for a called strike. The first teamer in the MEAC. Florida A&M, their last season in the MEAC.
Yep, heading to the SWAC in 2022.
As that one's low. Call for a ball, 1-1. Florida A&M, the most recent champions of their conference, as they won the conference tournament in Jackie Robins Ballpark right down the street back in 2019. The 1-1 is that one's fouled back.
Yeah. Next time that FAMU and BCU will see each other will be as members of the SWAC.
Yeah.
And of course, if FAMU and BCU, that's a blood rivalry right there. I mean, that's a real blood rivalry. And to see them both in the track, which is primarily an HBCU conference, it's, that's definitely an interesting move from them. It's gonna be an upgrading competition, especially in football.
Yeah,
for sure. Baseball probably will be an up. Well, actually, no. I'll say baseball will upgrade too. Baseball usually has some pretty decent teams. The MEAC has some decent teams, but they also have some teams that have really not been good.
that one's in the dirt at the feet of Cooper. 2-2 now the count with one on here for the Rattlers.
And it wasn't all that long ago that FAMU was one of those bottom-dwelling MEAC teams. Before Jamie Shoup took the job, FAMU as a program won 14 games in 2 seasons. They were 14-9. They went 7-45 in 2012 and 2013.
Yeah, and 2 NCAA tournament appearances in 15 and 19 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Shoup took over in 2014. The win total jumped from 7 to 26 in year 1. I mean, he made an immediate turnaround, and I mean, it's a challenging job being at any HBCU. It's just not an easy job.
3-2 is fouled back, and Shoup, of course, spent 20-plus seasons as an assistant on the Florida State staff, so he's familiar with Tallahassee, and that had to help.
Yeah, and familiar with Florida A&M, and that's the thing. That's the kind of coach that you need to find that can really turn your program around like that. I mean, in a way, it's kind of an easy move for a guy like Shoup because how much worse could it get?
Yeah, as that one's up the middle. Could be a twin killing here as Stetson turns it. Nice play there by Arenas to step on the back, fire over to Hilton. 2 down now. Base pass empty for FAMU.
4-3 double play. Take it any day. And, the one thing Burke kept telling us when we spoke to him yesterday was he liked how Arenas could handle double plays at second base. He meant more the turn, but that's another example of it. I mean, that's just reach up to the, just run up to the bag, step on it, make the move and throw over. I mean, it's a bit of an adjustment for Jorge, but, it's certainly one he's capable of.
They kind of missed there. Grant Rawl.
I mean, it's a real luxury for Stetson to have a guy who's been your mainstay at shortstop for 3 seasons and able to move him over to second. I mean, that's a real luxury for a program like Stetson, or any program, actually.
Roel takes the 0-2, and that one bounces in from DeFabia.
All you're asking out of Jorge is to do what he's capable of, and if he does that, then you'll take that any day. Second base in particular, it's been a problem for Stetson sometimes over the last few years. When they were, that 2018 team that won, 48 games, I mean, they were a great ball club. But second base was a problem for them. They had trouble finding a consistent second baseman. It wasn't until Kyle Ball kind of, caught fire late in the season that they really started to push the roll. And then with Miola getting hurt, Ball ended up moving over. Second base has been kind of like what do you call it? Musical chairs in a sense. Yeah, it's been kind of like musical chairs. So, to be able to stabilize that position with a guy like Arenas, that should go a long way for Stetson.
Big cut and a miss there, and another strikeout for DeFabia as he retires the inning here. Big double play ball. Twin killing gets Stetson out of the jam. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still scoreless here between Stetson and FAMU. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Hatters fans, Bud Light is proud to be the official beer of Stetson University. Making friends is Bud Light's business. And as part of this, Bud Light wants to remember music is what good friends do. Bud Light, Daytona Beverages, and Stetson University. Thanks everyone for making a responsible choice in choosing a designated driver.
Welcome back to Melchick Field. I'm Kenny Sherling and Masad Bendian as we hand it off to you here. Scoreless game between the Hatters and the Rattlers.
Yeah, we're still waiting for our first run here. But here's a guy who could provide it. Brandon Hilton, Eric Fago, Hernan Sardinius to start us off here in the bottom of the fourth. Hilton trying to bunt his way on, and that goes foul, trickling towards the FAMU dugout, 0-1. Hilton today 0 for 1, grounded out to second base, is only at bat so far. Hilton got the party started for Stetson early in Game 1 with a 2-run homer in his first at-bat of the year. First as a Hatter, actually. And did that hit him? Looks like it did. Yeah, he's taking off the shin guard. It did. So must have just caught the bottom of the foot. Hit by pitch, and that is now the third time in this contest that the leadoff hitter's gotten on for Stetson, one way or another. Although the first time by hit by pitch. Eric Fago now stepping in. Fago, who was in right field in Game 1, DHing this time around. 6'5", 260, redshirt junior from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Career 268 batting average for Stetson. Last year led the team in hits, in homers, in RBIs, in total bases, and in slugging. Also a guy who, well, for the first time in recent memory, let's just put it that way, also hit for the cycle in 2019 against Kennesaw State. Stetson 106th year of baseball. You would think that hit for cycles happen more often than they have for Stetson, but they're a rare occurrence for this program, and Fago managed to achieve that feat.
Lots of room in the ballpark, so you get one out, then you got a lot of space to tally that double and triple.
Mm-hmm. Well, statistically, the hardest part's the triple. You get the triple, then it becomes a lot easier to do it. And I was actually here that night when he did it. I was at home against Kennesaw, and it was, I remember the one at the end. The final one he got was the single, and it's a bloop job, an absolute bloop job, and it was, it was pretty cool to see it, I can tell you this much: I've rarely been more excited to see a bloop single in my life, Hancock delivers, and Fago foul-tipped that one. So the count now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Josh Hancock, a senior from Altamont Springs, 6'6", 230. Last year led FAMU in wins. He had 2 of them. 6.95 ERA. A guy that FAMU relying on to be a anchor on their weekends, along with Coleman. That's popped up. Foul territory towards Hatter Hill, and Royal's not going to get there. That one bouncing off the dirt and on to Hatter Hill, where you've got a couple of Stetson family members, I think, just hanging out in the chairs. Although I believe some of the players are also not dressed. If you look at the Stetson dugout, you'll see there's a fair amount of spacing going on, and that's definitely less players that you see in the dugout than normal, even though, the roster's as big as ever. They're not going to dress some guys, more. Not everyone's going to be dressed.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. Big cut from Fago, and he's down swinging. So first out on the board here in the bottom of the fourth, and that'll bring up Hernan Sardinius.
Sardinius got off to a good start here with a double, leadoff double his last time up back in the second inning.
Yep, where he added another 90 feet thanks to some smart base running. Would eventually get picked off to move third on a pass ball, or I don't know if they executed a pass did. But anyway, they ended up nailing him on it. Now with a runner on, and Sardinius takes the gap between first and second. Little station to station there as Hilton moves up, and now you've got runners at first and second, and here comes Nick DePonzio.
That was a nice rip there. There's also a nice dodge there by Brandon Hilton to leap over that, make it over the second.
And this is, if my scoring is right, I believe this is the first time in this game Stetson's had 2 runners on board.
Yeah.
So Hatters starting to build up a threat, and we're going to have a visit on the mound. That's Bryant Henry, the pitching coach, who's going out there. Been a part of the FAMU staff for about 7 seasons now. They share a Florida State connection to Jamie Shoup and Brian Henry. Shoup was actually Henry's pitching coach while they were at FSU. Shoup, of course, a longtime assistant under Mike Martin. He's actually a really strong pitcher for the Seminoles. First team All-ACC 3 years in a row. ACC Pitcher of the Year in 2007. And eventually ended up getting drafted by Arizona. Spent about 7 years in the minors. Also pitched for Team USA at one point. And eventually, when he got into the coaching ranks, found his way back to Tally and at Florida A&M.
It's a big moment here for FAMU. This is, again, a 7-inning match here. So you're bottom of the 4th inning. Typically, it's not crunch time, but you got to get the runs when you can here.
Well, 7-inning game, too. Got to keep that factored in.
Yeah.
You know, they definitely don't want to go into extras. There's a reason they scheduled 7.
Yeah.
That and also, FAMU actually requested it. They're going to play a lot of 7-inning doubleheaders this year, are the Rattlers. So that's going to be a staple of their conference play. The MEAC definitely making that change because of COVID. You know, they're going to do a lot of 7-inning doubleheaders. Stetson's has more doubleheaders scheduled than I can recall in some time. It's definitely since I've been here. You know, they've not had this many scheduled doubleheaders. You know, that's not something they generally like to do, but you're going to see a lot of that this year, primarily because of COVID and travel restrictions.
Yeah.
The 0-1 to Ponzio, big cut. The count now 0-2 on the Wake Forest transfer. The former Demon Deacon getting a home run in Game 1, his first as a Hatter. Rips anything into the outfield here. And at the very least, I think you'll see a play at the plate.
Yeah, Hilton, once he gets going,
he's got speed.
Can cruise.
He doesn't look it because he's such a big guy. He can run, though. He really can. Hancock steps off. FAMU not doing anything too exotic defensively. Double play gets him out of it, though. In the dirt, nice there from Bork.
Yeah, a couple innings ago you saw him playing in and ended up working out. They got out of the inning, but
yeah, this is the way this game is played out so far, though. You know, this might be a game where you need to manufacture a run or two early just to kind of get the gears moving. The 1-2. Big cut from the Ponzio. He's out regardless. No throw to first needed because Sardinius can't move. So 2 outs on the board. And it's up to Christian Pregent now to try to break the Bagels on the scoreboard. Pregent had a nice stand-up double in Game 1. Caught one off the end of the bat that tailed into the corner in right field. Redshirt freshman, 6'3", 10 out of Tom Beach. Stetson, a program that recruits Florida heavily, of course, but Stetson doesn't often have a lot of Volusia County kids on their roster. You don't see that many. There's a few. Pregent one of them, and he got nailed. Not sure if that caught his elbow or his arm, but it definitely caught something.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got the elbow guard, too. And
yeah, that's probably what it caught that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I heard a plastic click. That definitely wasn't his bat. So it was the elbow guard. Okay, I forget he wears that. So bases loaded for the first time all game for either side. And it's now up to Jackson Olsen to try to break this tie. So Hilton reaching on a hit by pitch. Pregent now reaching on a hit by pitch. Single from Sardinia sandwiched between them. Jackson Olsen 0 for 1 today. Grounding out to the catcher back in the third to lead off that inning. And he hits that right to first, a burner. That's gathered up by the first baseman. Nice move by Hancock to cover the bag, and we are out of the inning. So a little bit hairy there for Josh Hancock, but he got the job done. And we are still scoreless here at Melching Field. Top of the fifth coming up on Hatter Vision.
Runs on 1 hit, no errors, 3 left the board. We played 4 complete innings and scoreless at Melching Field.
Geico offers a special discount on car insurance to Stetson alumni. Just visit geico.com and select an alum to see how much you could save. Don't drop the ball when it comes to saving money. Contact Geico today.
Top of the fifth. No runs for either side. Alongside Kelly Scherlinger, I'm Assad Bendian. Thank you for joining us on Hatter Vision. And Favia starts us off here, and Juan Lawrence will tap that foul down the third base line, 0-1. Lawrence, Bork, and Robinson due up for FAMU in this frame. Final over at the Edmund Center, Jacksonville taking the win over Stetson, 86-82. So the Dolphins and the Hatters split the weekend basketball series. And I know it's been tough for Stetson to get 2 in a row there.
Yeah, and that's really how it's gone throughout the conference. It's really tough for any team, no matter what they are ranking in the standings, to sweep them.
Yes. ASUN tends to be a conference with a lot of parity.
Yeah.
That's a bouncer towards third, gathered up by Olsen. Fires across the diamond for out number 1. Nice 2-bounce gather there by Jackson, and he really fired it across the diamond. He showed some really good arm strength, you know?
Yeah.
Real luxury when you can have a guy that can play 3 positions in the infield like that, and Ball obviously can, and Arenas hasn't really played a lot of third other than his freshman season here, but he has the ability, too. He certainly has the arm to do it. And here comes Andrew Bork. Andrew Bork playing in his first game of the season. Did not play in the game 1. Rayburn was behind the plate there. Count now 1 ball, 1 strike. DeFabio working quickly. And that one's hit towards the hole. Olsen gathers, spins, turns.
Wow.
2 outs. In case you didn't know he was a shortstop, now you know. That was a shortstop move right there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That was a heck of a play, and it's a hard play to make, and he makes it smooth.
Yeah, that was a turn and spin there. That was kind of used to seeing that sort of thing here. John Mioli could do that pretty easily too. As a matter of fact, even though he didn't really play the position, Coach Trimper told me more than once that Miola defensively was probably this team's best shortstop. He was just valuable at third that, they didn't really want to play him at short. Plus, also, if you ever saw the highlight reel stuff that Miola used to do, I mean, that guy was a wizard in foul territory. He used to do some stuff that I still believe. If you've ever not seen the play he made against Oklahoma State in the 18 regional, you should. That's still one of the wildest plays I've ever seen defensively live. Robinson letting that one go, and quickly down here, 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Have you ever seen that play that I'm talking about, Kenny?
I haven't, no.
Okay. You should Google it and thank me later. Basically, he went over the dugout railing and almost planted himself face first in the floor.
Yeah.
I'll say them. That's all I'll say about that. The 2-1. Inside, misses. 3 balls, 1 strike to count. And that play really kind of, I think, sparked Stetson moving forward in that regional. That's a dribbler towards third. Olsen charging, throwing. Nice gather, but not enough time. And Robinson takes a dive on the ground. Oh, he might be hurt. He took a tumble as he went through safe, but that definitely looks like a muscle pull.
Yeah, does not look good. And
yeah, he fell awkwardly in the grass as he ran out, ran through the bag there. And they're going to take a look at him here. Make sure he can continue, but if that's a muscle pull with the temps like this, he's probably getting lifted. That was definitely an awkward fall. But that ends the no-hit bid officially for DeFabia. It's a single regardless. And from the looks of it, are they going to let him try to stay on? Oh, maybe it's more of a cramp than a pull.
yeah, he looks like he might be coming off.
Yeah, with the temps being the way they are, it's the first game of the year. You don't want to aggravate an injury like that. I can understand it if they pull him. I mean, he's your shortstop. He's a guy you're going to need defensively.
Yeah, and he's
he's
been one of the best clubs out here today.
Yeah. But, I mean, more to the point, it's the first game of the year. And an injury like that, you could easily aggravate it and make it a lot worse. So, yep, we're going to see a pinch runner here. Adam Hader-Moda is going to be the guy on the bag here. So, pinch runner for the first time in the other side. As Robinson's night is done.
Now pinch running for Robert Robinson at first base.
Hader-Moda, an infielder, so that could be a straight swap. Freshman from Tampa Robinson High.
Now at bat, the second baseman number 15, Octavian Moyer.
And we're going to go back to the top of the order here in Octavian Moyer. First pitch for him, right up the gut, base hit. So 2 hits in a row here for FAMU. And all of a sudden, the Rattlers showing a little venom.
Yeah, that one's laced right back up the middle. And with 2 outs, FAMU trying to break the scoreless tie.
And arguably their hottest hitter today up at the plate, Joseph Perini. Freshman's looked good so far early on in his FAMU career. He's got a chance here to give them their first lead of the season. First pitch swinging, tapped foul down the first base line.
You see him shaking his head there a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, he seems like he's saying, I got the feel now. It was a little bit late on that. That was good contact, but just a little bit late.
Perini is the only switch hitter on FAMU's roster. This team that does not have a lot of lefty bats. Matter of fact, they only have 4. Not counting Perini, they only have 4. So, and him being their only switch hitter, certainly valuable in its own right. 2 outs on the board here as DeFabia tries to get through this top of the 5th with another bagel. We saw a pretty solid start from Nick Durgan in Game 1. DeFabia's matched them so far. Maybe not so much in the K numbers, but in effectiveness, definitely. The 1-1. Outside and low. And we're We're seeing a little warming up in the Stetson pen, although I don't know if that's because they called for it or it's because it's cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting cold. Well, actually, no, I think it was called Therno. Talk a little strategy here, see what they're going to do. And I think probably more to the point, if it's what I think it is, you're about to see someone start throwing pretty soon in the Stetson pen. There's definitely somebody warming up to acting like they're about to start throwing. So this really a strategy move, not a call to the pen.
Yeah, buy some time and kind of
Yeah.
reset the scene here.
Critical part in the game right now, though. I mean, you're talking about a 7-inning game. You don't have as many outs to give as you normally do. It's a scoreless game. Both teams have struggled to find anything offensively. This has been FAMU's biggest threat by far in this contest.
Yeah, this
next
couple is passed out could turn the game either way. If Stetson gets away with it, you could see them really kind of take control and spark them next time they get the bats.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly the kind of game where you make one mistake here, it could be large. It could decide it. I mean, you've only got arguably 2 innings left. So first pitch, hit towards short, flip to second, and the Hatters are out of it. One pitch is all Anthony DeFabia needed after the conference. And 5 scoreless for the freshman. Nice debut for him. Bottom of the 5th when we come back on Hatter Vision.
Florida Public Utilities is your local trusted energy provider committed to helping you term energy, save money, and enjoy the highest level of comfort. Let's turn now to the video board for a brief message.
Ask for gas. Ask for gourmet meals. Ask for endless hot water. For faster drying times. Ask for natural gas. Ask for appliances that last longer. Ask for more comfort. A higher return of your home's value. Ask for hurricane ready. Hot showers and a power harness. Ask for benefits. Ask for energy savings. Ask for rebates. Ask for more. Ask for natural gas.
Your attention, please. Remaining in the game to play shortstop and bat ninth for Florida A&M, number 13, Adam Hayamoto. Leading off the bottom of the 5th inning for your Hatters, the second baseman, number 2, Jorge Arenas.
Six column for both teams as we enter the bottom of the 5th. Adam Hader-Moe in the game at shortstop, so a straight swap after Robinson got hurt, running out the first single of the game for FAMU. First pitch to Arenas, bouncer towards the hole, gathered up by Tristan Cooper at third. And just like that, one out here in the bottom of the 5th.
And that's the second time we've seen Arenas the first pitch, trying to get something going, manufacture something for himself and for the bats for the Hatters. And you kind of like the approach, but, I mean, depending on which way you think.
Yeah. Andrew McNeil now stepping in. Him and Sardinius are the only Hatters who've reached every single time they've been up. Single in the first, walked in the third.
I'd say if you like the pitch, you think you could turn on it, you go for it. But
Arenas is a pretty good first ball hitter. I'll take my chances with him on that more often than not.
Just missed on a little bit.
Hard hit towards short. Hayamoto getting his early test. And he passes.
Ooh.
Although Andrew McNeil thought he was safe. Close play. 2 outs on the board, though.
Ooh, that was...
You saw the melching
I don't know
field
about that
reaction. Yeah. Had we had a bigger crowd, it would have definitely been a much larger reaction than that. I'm just going to say this in advance while I'm thinking of it. I miss the bleacher creeps. Bottom of the 7th just isn't the same without you guys. Hopefully we'll see you all back soon. Kyle Ball steps in. With 2 outs on the board. The redshirt junior holds off there. 0-1. Ball, ASUN Defensive Player of the Year nominee, but didn't make that, of course, as we mentioned earlier, as that one's tipped foul towards the third base side, 0-2. Played in all 15 games last year. Started all 15, actually, either at second or at third. Of course, he had one of Stetson's 3 homers in Game 1. That one's high, 1-2. His shot coming in the bottom of the 5th, actually, to stretch out the Stetson lead at that point to 6-1. FAMU would eventually play another 2, but wouldn't be enough. The 1-2, big swing from Ball. That gets past the catcher, though. Throw over to first. Nice stretch in time. Rowell really bailing out his catcher there. That was not a well-thrown ball. But it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. The Hatters go down. We are through 5 at Melching. We're still waiting for our first runs. You're watching Hatter Vision.
Show your Stetson spirit and get your green on with officially licensed tees, sweats, hoodies, and more. Go to www.shopgohatters.com, where all your Hatters gear is just a click away. Visit shopgohatters.com today. And when you come to campus, make sure to visit the Stetson bookstore for all the best Stetson gear and memorabilia. The Stetson bookstore is located ground floor of the Carlton Union Building in the heart of the Dolan campus.
Three, 4, and 5 hitters for Jamie Shoup's ball club. Due up here in the top of the 6th. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Rattlers. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Stetson. Jared Weber lets that first pitch go by outside. 1-0 the count. LJ Bryant, Tristan Cooper due up. And Weber swinging out of his shoes again. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. His full power swing certainly looked dramatic. Can be effective. We saw that in Game 1. He had the 2-run shot late that cut the lead in half.
And he battled the wind there, took it to left field, which has not been the trend today.
For sure. The only homer that wasn't to right, actually. 2-1 here. And that one hit hard in the center. McNeil backing up, looking over his left shoulder. Right in front of the warning track to make the catch. 1 out.
And that one would have been a little bit more interesting if we weren't in such a big here Melching Field, but that's
your typical Melching Field pop-up right there.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it sounds terrific off the bat. You think it's going to carry, and then it just dies right in front of the warning track.
Yeah, like 395
yeah.
long out.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. That pitch in the dirt to LJ Bryant, 1-0 the count. It's really funny how often I've seen it here. I don't even really react to it anymore. The first couple of years that I did games here, I used to get constantly faked by that. And now that I've called enough games here, I just know what it is. Once it starts hitting that 380, 390 mark, it just dies like a quail. DeFabia with the gather there, underhand to Hilton for out number 2.
Now batting the third baseman, number 2, Tristan Cooper.
It seems like the energy on the side of FAMU here, that dugout seems a little bit more energetic than it did in game 1.
Hit Oppo there. That'll drop in front of Sardinias. No real chance to make a play there for the Cuban. And Cooper with his first hit of the game. So that gives FAMU 3 hits now. I think one thing you should probably note, though, about FAMU is that they have more players in the dugout right now than Stetson does.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of it. A lot of Stetson's relievers are in the pen, which, that's definitely another thing that's changed due to COVID. Pre-COVID years, you used to see the pitchers hang out in the dugout, and then when it was time, the great migration north.
Yeah.
Or I guess technically south, it would be the great. That one's hit into left field. There's DePonzio. Easy grab for him. Side retired. So Raul goes down. As Anthony DeFabia has thrown 6 shutout innings. The question is, will he get some offense? We'll find out. Bottom of the 6th coming up. We're scoreless on Hatter Vision. Vision. Temps are dropping and melching. Not too fast, but definitely getting nice and cool. 3, 4, and 5 hitters here for Stetson trying to heat things up. Hilton, Fago, and Sardinias, the big bats. As Josh Hancock tries to keep it at zeros. Coleman struggled in game 1. Not the case with Hancock. He's been great. Really turning into a pitcher's duel here. As we near the end of the 7-inning game, Hilton fouls that to the backstop netting, 1-1.
Yeah, I think we're locked in on it because the next one you're going to get is probably going to be a win and run.
Yeah, this is definitely, it definitely has that feel of whoever scores first is going to win.
Especially if you're going to extras.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're already, 3 outs away from the 7th.
Yeah.
I know they didn't want this to be a 9-inning game. The way it's shaping up, it just might be.
Yeah.
Whether they wanted it or not. 1-2 the count now on Hilton. Reached on a hit by pitch in the fourth, grounded out in the first. Hancock delivers, and Hilton fouls that off towards the Stetson dugout. Hit the net actually right in front of the dugout. So the count remains 1-2. Still awaiting word on when fans will be allowed back into Melching. I've been told that it could happen as soon as next weekend against North Alabama. But probably won't be decided until after this weekend series, as Hilton fouls that up and away over the third base stands. Of course, in between then, the Hatters will make the trip down I-4, Central Florida, Tuesday night game at 6:30. The Hatters' only road game in February. And then they're back for the 4-game set against the Lions of North Alabama, which will not be counted towards the A-Sun standings. First time ever that North Alabama will visit the land, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Hancock fires outside and low.
Yeah, make sure to stay posted or stay updated on social media and Stetson Tickets office as well.
Yep, Stetson Baseball, I'm sure we'll have all the deets once it's time. The 2-2. Fouled off again.
You go to GoHatters.com, or you can also call the ticket office at 386-738-HATS. It's 386-738-HATS.
That North Alabama game, the North Alabama games, by the way, the start of a 7-game homestand for Stetson. UCF will return the favor and come to the land right after the UNA series, and then South Florida making the trip up I-4 to see the Hatters. That's actually going to be a bit of an unusual series, that weekend series, as the count's now full on Hilton. First 2 games are going to be in DeLand. The third game is going to be at USF.
Yeah.
And then Stetson has a couple more games where they'll be playing USF as well, but not that weekend. It'll be later on. Hilton lays off, strike 3 called. The big man down looking. And I think he didn't quite believe that one. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure I quite believe that one.
Yeah.
It's rare you see Hilton go down looking. That's very rare. Eric Fago now stepping in, 0 for 2 in the game. Popped out to shorten the first. Hancock delivers, breaking pitch high, but in for the strike, 0-1. That one, to me, looked above the letters, but Matt Schaefer giving the call. Hancock sets up first base side of the rubber and paints the inside black there, 0-2. Hatters haven't had anybody reach since Prejean in the fourth when he got hit by a pitch. Last hit was Sardinius in the fourth with a single. And that one's hit. Bounces off the mound, gathered up by Moyer, the second baseman. The throw in time, and Sid retired. No, excuse me. 2 outs on the board. Got my math wrong.
Yeah, maybe you thought it was side retired as well.
Well, a bunch of them started running off too. That's actually what faked me.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2 outs on the board here, and Hernan Sardinius with a chance to try to generate a little 2-out magic. Tough play there from Moyer. The way it hopped off the mound, though.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times you see a ball bounce off the mound like that, you're going to see the runner reach more often than not.
Sardines for 2 here.
Yep.
Oh,
and we've got the sprinklers. Hi. How y'all doing? I guess they just wanted to make an appearance. And we're having a little fun with the sprinklers out in left field, aren't we, Mr. Weber?
Yeah, hopping over. I think the infield is kind of
after that water break.
Yeah, and they were on for a while, so you kind of have a little bit of a change of the outfield there. Be conscientious if you're an outfielder today.
Well, moving forward, yeah, for sure. And that pitch to Sardinia, slow and outside, 1-0. I mean, this field did get a fair amount of rain yesterday, although I don't think we need to be too worried about the saturation. It should evaporate fairly quickly, I would think. There wasn't that much water thrown on it. The 1-0 is hit right to the first baseman, but it gets past Roll, and that'll roll all the way into the corner. Sardinia's on his horse. He'll get the second standing. And the Hatters, with a chance for a little two-out magic here after that, ripped down the line by Hernan Sardinias. He caught it well, Kenny.
Yeah, and you saw that tail off a little bit there, maybe slowed down just a little bit with the grass being a little bit damp out there, so that might have helped out Sardinias a little bit.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the wet grass definitely makes a difference in how the ball rolls, so that's certainly possible. And now we're going to see Conference on the mound, and I wonder if maybe we're going to see a pitching change. We've got a pinch run game. Sardinias is lifted for Dylan Brazil. At least I think that's Dylan Brazil.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be alignment.
51. That is Dylan Brazil. Okay, so clearly a move for speed here. And probably a straight switch as well with Sardinias being in right. So probably McNeil makes the move to center, and we'll see Brazil in center. Excuse me. McNeil probably makes the move to right, and Brazil in center is more than likely what we're going to see. But we'll worry about that for another time. Right now, the bigger concern for Stetson is plating a run. And it's really up to Nick DePonzio right now to do that with 2 outs on the board. Brazil's probably one of the fastest guys on the roster. This roster has quite a few fast guys, so that should tell you something. DePonzio gets anything in the outfield. Time called there. Anything in the outfield, I cannot imagine Brazil not being waved home, especially at this point.
Yeah, 2 outs.
Yeah.
Do or die.
I mean, this has been a game with not a lot of offensive opportunities.
Runs are at a premium in this second game.
That's outside and low. 1-0. No action in the FAMU pen, so it looks like they're going to ride with Hancock here. DePonzio 0 for 2 in this game. Cade in the fourth, lined out to short in the second. Arguably should have been his first hit of the game, but Robert Robinson with a great jump to rob him there. And that's in for the strike. Hancock spins that in, 1-1. We do have some movement in the Stetson pen, though. Looks like we got at least one guy going to start making some throws off the mound pretty soon. Don't have a number for you, though, since everyone's wearing their jackets. The 1-1 is hit hard opposite field, but foul. Right near to where FAMU parks the bus, actually. The road teams here usually park the bus right off the bullpen side for the visitors. 1-2. Stetson trying to generate some offense here and grab a lead. The 1-2. DePonzio holds off. Nice serving him well there.
Nice layoff there to even up the count. Everybody hanging on the edge of their seat here for this 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, if Stetson can grab the lead here, then it's a save situation immediately. So, that's hit towards short.
Oh!
It bounces off Hader Moda and into center field. Stetson's got the lead. Dylan Brazil on his horse all the way. And the Hatters lead it 1-0 on an absolutely unfortunate bounce, totally killed Hader Moda. Man, that was as brutal a hop as I've ever seen here at Melching, especially with that infield. Goodness.
Yeah, just popped right over him. Anything, really nothing you could really do about that.
I feel for that poor kid. That is brutal. That caught the edge of the infield grass, I think, and that's the hardest part. So that's where you would see a hop like that if there is one here, but man, I think it hit his chest and then went up. I'm not entirely certain, but what it was, that was an absolutely wicked hop.
Took off on him, and best to keep it in front of him, but
yeah, there's nothing you can do about that.
There was some music on that.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do
on
about
that ball.
Yeah.
And especially for a guy who came in the middle of this game and has done a good job.
Yeah,
coming in for Robertson, who's been...
Oh, DePoncio stopped the bag at first! And so that ends the bottom of the sixth, and man, talk about an unusual ending there. But it goes Stetson's way in the sense that they have the lead, and top of the seventh right now, you've got a save situation potentially. But top of the seventh in this 7-inning game, Anthony coming out to try to get the CG. And he'll face the bottom of the order. Sajuan Lawrence, Andrew Bork, and Adam Hader-Moda, who's probably still wondering what the heck happened to him on that crazy bouncer that scored Dylan Brazil. Officially ruled a single from DePoncio, so an RBI for him. And as of right now, the winning run. But, of course, FAMU still has 3 outs left to change that particular script. And I think we're probably going to see some subs here. There's a lot of chatting going on between the home plate ump and Jamie Shoup, FAMU's head coach. As of right now, though, it's Bork and Hader-Moda due up.
The good news for Stetson, you face the bottom of the order.
For sure. And Fabia's delivered so far in his first appearance as a Stetson Hatter. A shot to get the complete game. Fires outside and high, 1-0 on Lawrence, who's 0 for 2 today. 2 groundouts. And that inside pitch gets the strike call, 1-1. The Fabia sitting up third base side. The lefty delivers. Outside, 2-1. We have some action in the Stetson pen. I'll have to get my binocs on it, but I'll be shocked if that's anybody but Garner Spoljaric, as Lawrence swings through that one for strike 2. Yep, that is Spoljaric. So Stetson warming up one of their closers right now if the Fabia gets in trouble. And that one hit right to the Fabia towards short. Arenas gathers, throws in time! What a play right there from Arenas and Hilton on the stretch. 1 out on the board. Man, we've seen a lot of those in this game.
And Hilton keeping his heel on the bag there was really the thing that made the play, because that was what the ump was looking at right there. He was making sure that he had his foot on the bag, and that was a stretch for Hilton, and a big guy stretching out and making a great play there to save
Not the easiest
trouble
for Arenas, too, because he had to behind the body that ball. He didn't make a particularly good run towards it angle-wise.
No, and this infield for Stetson
Is good.
in mid-season form here in the first weekend of the series.
Yep. Bork lets that pitch go by for the strike. First pitch a ball, so 1-1. Man, defensively, this Stetson team looks dialed in, especially in the infield. But you would expect that, really, with the kind of caliber players you got in Ball and Olsen and Arenas.
Yeah, and all the downtime you have, too.
That's
ground
it.
fall.
That
ground
one
balls.
hit towards the hole at short. Olsen's there, though. Easy for him. 2 outs.
All that downtime, you can take ground balls
Well,
all day.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I think, I don't know how you quantify this kind of a thing defensively other than through maybe fielding percentage. But, you've got really plus defenders around the horn for this team. Both Sardinius and Hilton are plus defenders at first, too.
Yeah.
So, you shouldn't see a lot of errors out of this team if it plays out on paper. Adam Hayter-Moda looking for some redemption here. He's FAMU's final hope in this one. DeFabia steps up, and that one hit right towards short. A burner gathered up by Ball, and Stetson takes both games of the doubleheader. What an unusual finish to a real pitcher's duel. Anthony DeFabia getting the hugs as he should, because the true freshman in his first start as a Stetson Hatter throws a complete game shutout. That's a heck of a way to introduce yourself to the Hatter faithful, huh?
Yeah, it's got to feel good. He's been dreaming about that probably for a long time, to make his college debut, and you do it against a gutsy and tough team in FAMU, and a game that's really was everybody was hanging on the edge of their seat, seeing who's going to really take and get that first run. You knew that the next one really was going to win it, and that's exactly what happened. And it was a gutsy effort by both teams. You got to give it's off to both of them in this second game of this doubleheader.
And you're feeling a little up right now, because that game turned 50-50. Just unfortunate bounce, and that ended up being the difference. But Stetson won't argue. They're certainly the beneficiaries of it, as Anthony DeFabia gets the win. And right now, worst case scenario for the Hatters, they still with FAMU, but of course, there's tomorrow. Another doubleheader here at Melching Field. First pitch at noon. Second game likely to start about 45 minutes to an hour after game 1. 9-inning affair the first game, 7-inning affair the second, just like today. So that'll do it for us here, as the scoring recap is pretty simple. An RBI single by Nick DePonzio plates Dylan Brazil from second. That's your ball game. Stetson 1, Florida A&M zip for Scherlinger. And the rest of our broadcast crew, Brett Hoynoski and Maggie Hessler, keeping us focused and dialed in. Thank you both. Appreciate it. I'm Masad Bendion. Final score, Stetson 1, Florida A&M nothing. We'll see you tomorrow at noon as both these teams wrap up another doubleheader here at Melching Field. Until then, have a good night.